So we got a ton of news about Blackout 2.0, or what they're calling Black Ops Royale. And I kind of want to breeze through some of my opinions on it because we've gone through a lot of these features and it's just more informative. But now I can kind of go through and talk about some of the things that I'm concerned about for the mode and some of the things that I think are going well for it. We still got a little bit more information to come out with it before next Thursday comes out. And there's certain little missing piece of information that I don't think they've given us enough information on. I think some of the great things that it's got going for it right away is the zero barrier to entry. You don't have to level guns. There's no loadouts. You don't have to level up to do your create a class. This is a huge W, especially if you have those friends that are on Arc Raiders or Battlefield or one of the other 100 games that are out there that you could play that are tons of fun, whether single player, multiplayer, whether on a marathon or whatever. You got the opportunity to say, hey, you know what, you want to jump in? You can tell them, you don't even have to level up your guns no more. You don't have to level up. So that's super low barrier to entry. All you do is got to download the game. It's completely free. I think that's great. And this will be good for people that maybe wouldn't ordinarily, at bigger streamers like a Shroud or a Summit or Tim, that maybe don't want to jump on COD all that often, or don't want to have someone pay to level up their account or whatever they do on the back end. They'll just be able to jump in and try the game for what it is. If it's good, it's good. If it's not, it's not. It'll be trash. It'll be trash. It's going to be good. It's going to be good. That doesn't matter. But if the barrier to entry is so high that people don't even get to try it, then it doesn't matter if it was good. It doesn't matter if it was trash. People aren't going to play it. There's no new players coming to it. And that's a problem Warzone's had for a while. This is the route they decided to go, creating an entirely new mode that is distinct, separate, and completely different from the current Warzone that we have. And so much so that it will be its own mode and not an LTM. These are completely distinct modes that you'll still be able to play, depending if you have a preference, you'll still be able to play those. But overall, I think that lower barrier to entry is great for this mode. I really wish they would just do away with the leveling, which I've talked about for over a year now. Just do away with it. And that barrier to entry would be gone. And then we'd really be able to see, is Warzone good or bad? Or is it just the barrier so high that nobody actually wants to bring their friends to play it? I think that they've hit kind of like a home run in terms of dialing in exactly what made Blackout back in the day, 8 years ago during BO4. And I think they've nailed a lot of those elements, almost all of them. And then the areas that they didn't, they've improved on or simplified to make the mode better, in my opinion. But that's obviously an opinion there. They've created that more traditional battle royale feel that Blackout had back in the day, and they've, over the years, COD has adapted, and so many of the other BRs have adapted. So I think they've kind of kept that core gameplay loop while improving it slightly and allowing for different things. These cradle breaches, which will be pretty interesting, where you're going to be able to fight for contested high-value loot against zombies and some other stuff. That was in the original Blackout as well. You would land in cemetery. There'd be some stuff going on there. I don't remember all of them. I know you could go to the boxing gym, and then in there was something with the mystery box. I don't remember all the details. That was 8 years ago, and I wasn't a big fan of Blackout, so I didn't play a ton of it, but I did play it, right? And those systems were all there, and you were able to get the ray gun. You were able to get MP40 from the mystery box, I believe, as well. I don't know if there's going to be all kinds of other random guns in the mystery box. They've talked about these exotic weapons, which for right now, they seem like some of the redacted weapons we've had in the past, where they're 8 attachments and tons of buffs, similar to the buffs that we get from upgrading the rarity of our weapon currently. Good stuff there. Give you a different gameplay loop. These areas will be dynamic. You can't really predict them quite as often. They'll happen randomly in the match, and then you go from there. The no loadouts part, that'll allow you to have a little bit more diversity in your weapons, but you still will probably want to have a preference for certain weapons, just kind of how it works. If you come up on a shotgun and you're not a shotgun player, you're probably going to want an SMG. The meta will be probably SMG rifle, unless sniping's completely broken. Then maybe you do rifle, sniper rifle, or a sniper support SMG. And then that's going to limit you down to a couple different weapons that you're going to want, depending on your play style. And it's going to feel a little bit different because looting does matter. You're going to want to loot and continue looting until you get the weapons you want. And you're going to want to make sure you get your armor upgraded. You're going to get a satchel. You're going to be able to do your attachment kit. So you go ahead and continue to improve and add more attachments to the individual weapon that you want. Predetermined attachments, which the chef is already in there cooking, and they already made the specific predetermined route. And all you do is got to get these attachment kits, which should be relatively accessible and allow you to maximize and improve the quality of your weapon, which will give you better attachments as well as better stats. Not extra damage or anything like that, but better handling and better reload and better bullet velocity and those types of things that are important in gunfights. That will be a distinct difference between having a common version of the gun or a legendary version of the gun. So I think that makes it so that pretty much everyone starts on pretty much a neutral playing field, where everyone at the start of the match is guaranteed pretty much going to have a common weapon. And then as soon as you start getting those upgrades, then it's going to go to uncommon, rare, epic, legendary, and then you're good to go with the weapon you had, as long as the one you want. So I like all that, super simplified, and respawns will be incredibly limited. So this is something you're going to have to be aware of. Everyone's going to respawn with a single respawn token, which I think once you get towards endgame, if you hadn't died, you're going to lose the token like we've lost before. But if you happen to die, it's not like you can go buy back your teammate 10 times at the buy station. So super limited on that end. And then you can hit a respawn beacon, which will be an activity you're going to have to do that's going to make yourself a target. A little bit contested thing to do as well. And you're going to be able to respawn your teammates. That's going to go on a cooldown. So you're not going to be able to just spam that. If people die, you're not going to just be able to keep bringing them back. There's going to be a lot of those situations where the mode isn't, you're going to want your full team, but it's not going to always be as easy as I hit the buy station, buy them back in 2 seconds because I have a surplus of money. It's not going to work that way. So it's going to be a little bit more punishing on that end, which generally rewards higher skilled players that know how to play their life. I think the movement, fresh mechanics will be pretty good. We're going to have the wall jump. We're going to get the wingsuit, the grapple hook. The attachment kits are simplified, so you don't have to worry about picking up, oh, I need a mag. Let me hold on to that mag until I get the weapon I want. Kind of a janky system when you actually go back to Blackout. The quality of life and ease of use is way better in this version based off that alone, even though I think some people probably do want to pick up a suppressor and hold on to that until they find their third gun and then get those attachments going. So this will work pretty good. Trauma kits return. I'm not necessarily a huge fan of that. I don't like inconsistency of health, and that's what we're going to get with trauma kits and tiered armor returning. Back in the day, they launched it with mitigation depending on what armor tier you had, whether it was 1, 2, or 3. It would be 25, 35% reduction, 45% reduction. Based off the gameplay they've shown, we get 35% reduction with tier 2. Tier 3 isn't blocking the head, so we're assuming it's going to be 45, and then the other one's 25, but that's not confirmed yet. Just the 35 is from the other one. And that adds a significant number of shots to kill. And those shots to kill lead to a longer TTK. If you have an average TTK of around 600, with the armor, it's going to shoot up a lot of those guns to around 800, which is like 30% longer. And that'll feel like a longer gunfight. Same thing with the trauma kits. That's going to add an extra 100 health. On top of that, you're adding some multiplicative nonsense in there. It's going to be a lot of shots to kill. And those gunfights are going to be going to the higher skilled player. And that's why I think they've gone out of their way to lower some of the recoil stuff with the upgrades they give you, because they're going to want you to be accurate. So you're getting your gunfights as close to the theoretical as possible. Otherwise, the gunfights would just be way too long. I think there are some things that people brought up that they're concerned about, and I'm concerned about those as well. In addition to some of the things I've already talked about, is how long will this stay? I don't even think they know. If the mode is successful and popular, I think it's going to continue. We don't really know exactly what the roadmap's going to look like between now up to MW4. Are they doing a battle royale? Are we just going to keep the version we have with the newer map? We're going to get Avalon plus another map, and then IW is just working on DMZ, and we're going to get DMZ 2.0, and that's going to be fully flushed out. They've seen the success of the battle the extraction shooters with for sure arc raiders and potentially Marathon, or potentially Tarkov's been successful for a while, or one of the other 20 different extraction shooters that have come out. Even their own, which was a complete flop, in my opinion. I wish it was good. I wanted it to be good, but they didn't really understand the mode, so I don't have a lot of faith in that. But that's more of an aside. Hopefully it comes out great. I'd be interested in playing it. I like extraction shooters if they're good, but they are seldom good. That's part of it. But then also, what do updates even look like for the mode? Do we just do more events like we're seeing in Endgame, where they have the Colossus show up, they have the Wraithwing come in, they have the Z-Rex come in? Are those types of things that they're planning to do and modify them to fit the Battle Royale experience in terms of health? Because a lot of those activities you're doing with like 12 to 15 people. Maybe these ones, it's set up to do with 3 or 4. I don't know. They don't really give us a lot of information. We barely got this information now. But I think that is the part where it really shows their hand. And that's the part where Call of Duty really gives you a good idea of what they're going to do. They show their hand in a lot of different ways and a lot of different modes. When we had our first season update, there's certain things they did in regards to content for multiplayer, endgame, and zombies. They're showing their hand on what type of content they're going to be putting out. Whether it's reused, new, update, whatever it is, they've gone through and they've set it up a specific way, showing you this is what we're going to do and this is kind of the cadence we're going to follow. Without that information, we don't really know how they're going to follow it. I think there was a lot of things where they went all in on this mode. I think all their eggs are in one basket because of the lack of updates throughout the year besides Haven's Hollow since Verdansk came back in March of last year or April or whenever the heck it came back. Long time ago. It's almost been a year and there has been little to no content because they went all in on this. So they really believe in this, but if it's flop, then it doesn't matter if they believe in it. People will have to want to play it. Lower barrier to entry, that's going to help people get in there. I don't expect a huge spike because it's popular to hate COD. Regardless if it's good or bad, they don't take it for what it is. It just is what it is. I think the mode may be potentially too hardcore of a BR. And that sounds a little bit weird because you think BRs are supposed to be. But as we've seen with the success of a game like Arc Raiders, the more casualized you make an experience, the more novice you make it so that there's really no skill ceiling, that basically anybody could kill anybody, that type of feel, it ends up being to a good thing where, you know, that the casuals feel like they can win and they can kill the best players in the world because the skill differential is really that low in the game. I think the longer TTK, the faster movement, doesn't help that. I think the randomized weapon, better players were going to perform better with better weapons or with random weapons. Even if they get the bad weapon, they're going to perform better versus if you guys both get loadout weapons, at least you have a chance. If you get a bad weapon and you're not particularly great, it's going to hinder your chances quite a bit. And that's how BRs work. They might have be too late on the window. I don't know if they did some reviews to find out what people are interested in, but a lot of the comments in the previous videos are like, oh, they're just copying RedSec, even though RedSec basically copied Blackout and they copied a bunch of other features from Fortnite and Apex or whatever. And COD has done these, and COD's BR that they had on COD Mobile had a lot of those features as well. So this isn't like new stuff for Blackout to do. And it is Blackout, but we've seen how bad RedSec did. And did it do so bad because it was the Battlefield umbrella, or is because people really aren't interested in those types of battle royales that are this style, even though I think it'll be better than RedSec. Obviously a little bit of preference there, but I think Blackout 2 will be infinitely better than RedSec. So there's that for that, but maybe people aren't interested in that. I think there's a little bit of COD fatigue, skepticism that we've talked about for almost a year now. And it's led to the fewest uploads I've ever had on the channel. Even though I'm playing regularly and playing a ton of other games, enjoying those, by the way. So hopefully we get some answers to some of these concerns, that they're able to address those. And things like why not having solos. And I think a lot of things just go untalked about by them. And if they were just more vocal, it would solve a lot more issues on specific topics. I already have a spreadsheet ready to go with the TTKs for all the various armor and all the weapons that are currently available there. So we'll be doing a video on that when that comes out. Once we confirm some of the damage details, just to be for sure. We'll kind of see how that goes. Let me know what you guys are most interested in or not interested in. Comments. We'll see you on the next one. Thank you for watching. As always, have a great day.